Hello beer tubers and welcome to another beer review with me, Peter, the master of Hoppets. Today looking at another beer that I got from Manchester Marble. So Manchester Marble was kind enough to send me some bottles of the collab they did with Fuller's of Prize Old Ale, bringing back the Prize Old Ale from George Gale's brewing company for one last time. I even have a bottle of the original one sitting right there. Historic beer for me, and a very historic British beer. They brought that back. They were kind enough to send them over, and they actually added some extras. And this is one of them, which will be really fun to try. So this is a collaboration that Manchester Marble did with Brouwerij de Molen and Brouwerij Kees in the Netherlands. And this is the long, the short, and the tall of it. Adambier. You might think to yourself, well, what is an Adambier? So Adambier you've probably never heard before, or maybe you do if you're a beer geek like me. But Adambier is one of these ancient beer styles, kind of pretty much extinct. Not a lot of people brew them. I remember back in the day, the most famous Adambier, or the one that kind of like people knew about, was Adam from Hair of the Dog. And I don't know many commercial examples nowadays, actually. But Adambier is a traditional German style beer. Usually it would have been a very strong beer. It's from the Dortmund area in Germany. And the specific thing about this, well, it was around 9-10%, something like that, maybe even stronger. A lot of modern examples are around that as well. And then it would be kind of like their strong beer. So they had their box and everything, but then they had this as well. And I think maybe this actually might have been a little bit older than the box too. And what was quite unique for this style is that often it was sour, because back then you didn't have the quality control you do nowadays in terms of figuring out what bacteria lives in your beer and whatnot. So you would probably get some lactic cultures or some wild yeast or something going crazy in there, making it a bit sour. But the big other thing was that they were often smoky as well. So they could be, I guess, both sour. There's also some that were not. I guess it also depends on the alcohol content. Usually some stronger beers, they can keep the alcohol, could keep out the bacteria and the wild yeasts. You never know. I mean, sometimes that goes. But back then, the big thing was that it was smoky, because back in the day when you were a maltster, the only way to produce malts would be when, like, instead of having your temperature controlled floor maltings or whatever, you'd use kilns with wood fire. So you'd heat or make a wood fire and malt with this wood fire kiln, which is pretty cool. And you can see some of them still in Germany, like in Bamberg, where they do the Rauchbiers, which is really cool. And it's a very traditional way of making beer, and I still think it tastes great. And you guys know I love smoky beer, so I really hope I'll enjoy this one. So that's a little bit about Adambier. A fun little ancient style, and it's fun that they decided to do something like that. And of course, I mean, I've actually never had anything from Kees. Kees. I know they're quite famous for like a caramel toffee fudge imperial stout thing or porter, but De Molen, they do like their smoke. So this will be fun to see. 9.5%. What makes this a little bit different too is that it's also made with Lapsang Souchong tea, which is, I don't know. I don't know anything about tea. It sounds like it's a Chinese tea, but I might be completely wrong on that. You guys correct me. But we got the Adambier here, the long, the short, the tall of it poured, and that pours a very nice brown, really dark. I mean, it looks black on camera, but it's like a really, 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 really dark brown color in the glass, like the darkest shade of brown you can get. And the head on there is kind of roasty, tan looking. But yeah, it looks nice, and also like it's one of the German ales. There's not a lot of them, but it's one of the German ales. Because Germany nowadays is mostly known for lagers, but as in the past it was ales they did, because you couldn't do the cool fermentation. But it looks nice in the glass. Let's check out the aroma on the long, the short, the tall of it. It really, really, really reminds me of something like Adam. I haven't had Adam in years, but that smoky, leathery characteristic is just jumping out. And often they wouldn't be like maybe super sour, but it would have a little bit of a sourness to it. And this has a little bit of a dark, fruity, raisiny, figgy, maybe cherry sourness going on. It smells quite nice. Really nice smoke character. It's like that bonfire woody smoke. It's not necessarily as meaty as the smoke you get from Schlenkerla's Rauchbiers and whatnot, but it's this kind of, campfire burnt wood aroma. Maybe a little bit of meatiness to it, but yeah, I'm not picking up much of the tea at all, but lots of dark fruits, lots of leather, lots of smoke, lots of ashy, tarry notes. I guess if you want to compare this to like a modern beer style, I don't really know what you would. I mean, I guess the closest thing you could compare it to is like a really strong Rauchbier with a little bit of sourness. It's a similar aroma, at least. Maybe crossed with some kind of Belgian style, actually, because it's got a bit of that kind of weird, interesting, dark fruity ester profile you get in like Belgian or Belgian strong dark ales, for example. But it smells very nice, actually. Let's give it a taste, guys. Cheers, and thanks to Marble for the beer. That really reminds me of having Hair the Dog Adam for the first time. That's really nice. Oh, it's such a balanced smokiness. This is a style I don't think you would ever see have a huge comeback today, with the beer scene being as it is now, with all the juice and pastry and beer that doesn't really taste like beer. Like, I like those beers, but this is acquired taste for sure. I really fucking dig it though. Like, it's really nicely smoky without being too much. It's like this, I said, campfire, woody, burnt, ashy, smoky flavor there's to it. It has like, the sourness is super light. It's like, there's a light sourness to it. Like a light, sour cherry, sour dark fruit flavor. Maybe even more so tart than sour. But it's super light. Lingering aftertaste is like nice, drying, lingering, almost woody character. The tea, though, I don't know what to look for specifically. Is there any tea-like flavor? Maybe that's like the dryness of like tea leaves I'm getting on the back end. I'm not entirely sure because I don't even know how this tea tastes. That's also how it is sometimes with like ingredients like that in beers when you haven't actually tasted them. Yeah, leathery, almost like tobacco-like. Tobacco. Like, it tastes super old school, like super old school, with all that smoke and like leathery and tarry. Again, I'm thinking like it's like cross between like lightly soured Belgian strong dark ale with Rauchbier, pretty much. But then it's not like the traditional meaty smoke you're getting. It's more of this like almost something along the lines of a peat smoke, but not entirely there either. I mean, it's not like that kind of like crazy to me peaty minerally smoke. To me, it's more of this, well, campfire, burnt wood flavor. Very nice mouthfeel as well. Very creamy, velvety, and coating with a nice kind of like dry, smoky aftertaste. This is not going to be for everyone, as I said, but for me, it's really good. I'm going to give it a 93. I think this is awesome. It's taking me back to having Adambier for the first time. I'm not like, wow, this is insane. Like, it's just such a well-brewed, very old school, kind of like traditional, ancient, I guess you'd say, beer. And it tastes like something you drank back then. You know, it has like a bit of sourness and it has like a bit of that smoke. It's just cool. That's a great way of putting it. It's just a cool beer. If you can get it, I'll highly recommend trying to get a can of the long, the short, and the tall of it by Marble, Brouwerie de Molen, and Brouwerie Kees. It's really nice. I think they did this in a series. I can't remember how many beers. All the things that they have in common, the beers, is that they're brewed with the Souchong tea. It's probably 3 beers, one at each brewery. But that's all they have in common. And then this one is like Adambier, which is a fun thing to do. So if you guys have a chance to try this one, let me know what you thought of it. Have you any recommendations for Adambiers to try? It'd be fun to try more in this ancient, revived beer style because I like the smoky beers. If you guys had a chance to try this one, let us know what you thought of it. And as always, remember to comment, subscribe, check out the Facebook fan page, and Twitter, and Instagram. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Cheers, and thanks a ton to Marble for the beer. This was great. See you guys in another beer review.